Hare Krishna. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. It's a Vedic tradition that we invoke auspiciousness before we start anything. You would have seen any yajna, any work. So these were invocation prayers which will invoke all auspiciousness so that we can have a fruitful discussion and we can be benefited with this discussion. So today's topic is staying happy in critical times. There are two words: staying happy, critical times. So people think all over the world that critical times means COVID. Yeah, currently it's like, a bigger problem has come. So the smaller problems have kind of subsided, but they are there. They're pricking us every time. So we can understand that critical times was always there, were always there. It existed before COVID, it is existing now, and it will continue to exist even after COVID. And the mission or the goal of every living entity, that means not only humans, but birds, reptiles, animals, everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to be happy. A lion comes out of its den thinking that I will eat some animal and I will be happy. And I will also feed my kids. But then animals are running away thinking that we want to be happy and we want to go away from lion. So this is the situation. Fortunately, for human beings, this is not how it has been created. Somehow or the other, we have artificially created a world where if one person has to survive, other person has to give up, whether money, whether health, or life. But happiness, definitely the other person has to give up if one person has to enjoy. Actually, it's not the case. We can very easily coexist. We can easily coexist. So how do we stay happy in critical times? Now, if you see, critical times are coming, the problems are coming, but they're going also. It's a good thing. This material world, everything is temporary. The entire world, everything is temporary except one, which we'll talk a little later. A child does not want to go to school. You see, initially, kids don't want to go to school. But then they make friends. So the problem for them going away from home, I don't know what is the situation now, but definitely in our times, we never wanted to go to school, especially first few days, crying, howling, rolling on the ground. And father will hold the hand very tightly and give it to, like, as if doing some kanyadan or something, giving to the maid, or matron, or someone in the school, even a peon, and they will take us inside, and there will be huge gate. It will be closed, as if we have entered the region of Yamraj, and everyone is crying. Especially the you know kindergarten, when you come first time, everyone is kind of crying. But then what happens? That looks you know worst. It appears that it's worst thing happening in my life. But then after 2 days, that goes away. Now I'm looking forward to go to school because I have new friends. I have new friends. I have teachers. I have school staff who are taking care of me. I have friends to play with. I have my lunch box. So the world is not so bad after all. The life is not, uh, a problem. So that's what we have to understand. And then, I can go on with examples. Whole life we have, things come and go. The main thing is, what I'm trying to say, nothing is permanent in this world. Whatever gives you happiness will come, will give you happiness and will go away, whether a person or an object. Whatever is giving you, a very negative experience, misery of your life, it will come, stay for some time, and leave, whether a person or an object. It will not stay. In Bhagavad Gita, it is said, uh, Matra sparshastu kaunteya sukha dukkha shitoshna dukkara. Agama apaina anityas tam titikshasva bharata. This world is completely non-permanent, and everything happening here is for certain time, like sukha and dukkha, like happiness and distress. It will come and go away. Like the weather, the winter and the summer. Now I'm in Bombay, so most of you, some of you who are in Bombay, winter and summer is same. Maybe now some slight difference, but otherwise, who are in interiors, especially in north, summer is hell, winter is hell, and rains only, itself is a scare phenomena. It's not there. So we see, similarly in our life, things will come, things will go. So don't take these things very seriously. How to do that? I was just having a word with one CEO of an IT company just before this session. And we're discussing how we can, do something for the employees. They have thousands of employees with them. So what can be done? So I was talking, we need to internalize our consciousness. We need to look, how can we be happy? How can we be satisfied? How can we be peaceful? Everything internally. Because if there is internal happiness, externally you will be happy. If there is internal satisfaction, externally you will be satisfied. Someone may say, but what if we become complacent? The complacency factor will creep in our consciousness. What will happen to the world? You open history books, any history books, you will see in the history of mankind, the most active, species are who are devotees of Krishna, devotees of Lord. We have our leaders now also in ISKCON who just maybe, who are working like 20 hours a day, even after the age of 75. Why? When you are working, you're working for 10 hours, 12 hours. But here are our leaders who are 75 plus and they're working for 20 hours a day. For the world. Sarve Sukhina Bhavantu. Let everyone be happy. That's the motto. That's the principle. So let everyone be happy. So for others' happiness, a devotee sacrifices. So when we're talking about internalizing the happiness, internalizing the satisfaction, that will not make us complacent. So please do not misunderstand that I will become complacent. Will I have to leave my job? Will I have to leave my family? Will I have to leave money and everything and just be simple? No. The biggest examples, Bhagavad Gita. Arjuna heard Bhagavad Gita from Krishna. And before Bhagavad Gita, you see, he didn't want to fight. After hearing Bhagavad Gita, he's performing his duty with so much of enthusiasm and vigor. So much of enthusiasm. So Bhagavad Gita or any other spiritual literature does not teach us you to run away from your duty. Rather, it emphasizes on the duty. I'm just, making it clear so that people should not misunderstand. Many people in the world misunderstand that spirituality, brings in complacency. Arjuna, so competent. Not complacent, but competent. What does spirituality do to us? So when we're talking about internalization, external situations are changing. Let me give you an example. Now, Bombay, when it rains, because coastal and very heavy rains, heavy traffic, very heavy traffic. And in any city, any major, metro city of India, there is heavy traffic. Suppose there's one boy who has come from somewhere, he has gone for his education, now he's completed his, year, now he's coming back home, and his home is in Bombay. He gets down at Bombay Central Railway Station, the evening 6 o'clock, and that is south of Bombay. And now he stays in north of Bombay, in suburb, say Borivali. And people who know before pandemic that coming from Bombay Central to Borivali by road, because he has a lot of luggage, he cannot even imagine taking a local. Obviously, now you will say if train has come to Bombay Central, it has come from through Borivali, but we are just, taking an example. Or you can take CST also. So he takes the cab and he comes. How many hours it will take? It may take few hours. And it's raining heavily. Everyone is just honking. Everyone is in a rush to reach home. And this fellow student is frustrated. It's raining, he's tired, he's hungry. He also wants to reach home. He's coming after 1 year. Then he'll become little irritated. His mother will call, "Where did you reach?" "I've just taken a cab." And after half an hour, obviously, she's concerned. She'll again call, "Where did you reach now?" And this fellow has only traveled 1 kilometer because of the traffic. And when he gets 2, 3 calls from his mother, he becomes irritated. Why are you calling me again and again? I will reach home. So it's not that he's angry on his mother. It's what is happening in the external world is affecting his consciousness. He will become angry on the driver. And the entire atmosphere will be very, tensed and stressed out. That will how the situation be. Imagine he has to have a journey of few hours. It may take 3 hours, it may take 4 hours. Now, same situation, let us make a little bit of change. This boy comes after finishing his college, he's coming home, and he has a friend who comes to pick him up. And they both take a cab and go to home. Again, heavy rains, heavy traffic, he's tired, he's hungry, few hours of journey, but now he has a friend. Imagine in today's situation if that friend is actually his girlfriend, for whom he has a lot of affection, a lot of love, and they are meeting after 1 year. How will his journey be next few hours? He has no problem. Let it take 24 hours to reach home. Let it be flooded everywhere. Let it be traffic jam. No problem. Even if mother calling again and again, he'll not become irritated. He will talk very sweetly to the driver. Same person, situation changed, the reaction changed. Isn't it amazing? So things are changing externally, but it does affect us and it does affect our response. So now the question is, what shall I do that even when the situations are changing, whether negative or positive, I do not get affected. I do not respond in a way that it affects other people. So it needs a lot of internal strength. Now there was a storm in Bombay. It was there in Bengal and Odisha also. In Ganga Sagar, you might have heard Ganga Sagar. It's an island. So we have a small temple there, and devotees, they sent a message after one day that everything is just washed off. So much sea water. Anyways, it's the world's largest delta, and where Mother Ganges is meeting ocean. Everywhere is just, it's Ganga, but it looks like an ocean. All the water has come, and the water is like 5 feet above the ground, and everything is just washed. These devotees have to actually run away for their life. Everything is washed off. There was a storm in Bombay. Obviously, there was a lot of preparation, but still, you cannot prepare everything. Anything which is loose will just fly off with the storm. If the things are fixed up, see, many trees got uprooted. I heard more than 3,000 trees got uprooted only in Bombay. In our temple in ISKCON Juhu, 3 trees got uprooted. It's a big thing. First time we saw 3 trees getting uprooted in one storm. Which are those trees? So there was a tree, which was a tree supposed to be like this. Okay, little bent here. It's a mango tree. Mango firm, mango tree is solid. It's not. And that's why the palm tree, how Krishna has created wonderfully this world, very intelligently. The palm trees, they are flexible. So even the storm comes, they just move, but they don't break so easily. They are made flexible. The mango trees are not flexible. So there's a mango tree, and this mango tree was actually getting tilted, and I'm seeing it was like this 10 years back, and now it was almost like this. So when the storm came this time, obviously last year also storm came, but nothing happened. This time the wind flew in such a direction that it was like this, and the wind pushed that tree so hard that it broke. It didn't get uprooted. It broke. I mean, 1 feet above the uh, ground level, it broke because of the pressure. And we see that the tree is still young. The roots are still intact. The tree broke. Why? It was already half, slanted or tilted. So if we are weak or if we are vulnerable to the external situations, then what happens? We will get affected very badly. To the degree we are vulnerable to external situations, to the degree we are lacking in internal satisfaction, internal spiritual strength, we'll get affected. And that's how people respond or react. We should respond, but people react. Sometimes they commit suicide, sometimes they kill other person, sometimes they, there's so much fights. Sometimes this, if you see from a neutral point of view, the matters are very trivial. The emotions, there's an emotional surcharge, and because of these emotions, we're not able to have a balanced life. Where are the emotions coming from? It's coming from mind. And it's a duty of intelligence to actually control those emotions, have a check and balance, so that emotions don't just outflow, more than what is required. So the check has to be done by intelligence. Unfortunately, in our situation, most of us, our intelligence has affected already. It has become hollow. So it affects the emotion. There is no, it's like, a dam, and the dam completely is like filled up to the brim, more than the cross the danger mark. If you don't open the gate, gradually it will just bust open. It will destroy the walls, and there will be havoc. And that's exactly happens. That exactly happens with our emotions. When we are surcharged with emotions, and intelligence is not able to, have a balance and open the gates, floodgates one by one, gradually let it go, what happens? Outburst and creates havoc. And we realize, we regret, I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that. Other person also, both regret, but still mind is not allowing them to come and apologize. This is a situation of mind. So we need strength for intelligence. We need strength for soul. Otherwise, this mind will keep on creating, chaos in our life. It will mess up our entire life. So how do we do that? With knowledge, with understanding that why things are happening. What can I do? I cannot do anything. Some places I can, some places I cannot do. So this knowledge is required. Now, obviously, much can be spoken about this topic, that how to stay calm in different directions. We can speak at length. But then I thought, well, let us take a gist of it. So now we understand that externally situations are changing, okay, and it is impacting us internally. And because the internal strength is less of the soul, of the intelligence, the mind gets surcharged with emotions and just, you know, outbursts. Either we go in depression, or we cry, or we become angry, or we fight, or we destroy other person, or we destroy ourselves. Destruction has to happen. That's why you see in the rainy season, especially, where there are heavy rains, all the dams, when they are going gradually, rising, the level of water is rising, rising, rising. Everyone is watching, especially the engineers, the government, they're watching. And when they see that now the time has come, so they gradually open the floodgates, the gates of the dam, let the water gradually go. So that's how our mind works. Hmm. So there are four levels: physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual, as explained in Bhagavad Gita. So mind acts through senses, which is physical, and mind is emotional level. Now, mind can be, controlled, so that it can release the emotions in a controlled fashion rather than uncontrolled fashion. It has to be done by intelligence. So intelligence needs strength. That's why Krishna explains in Bhagavad Gita, intelligence is compared to driver of the car. That time there were chariots. I'm taking example of car, it's easily understood. And the steering of the car is the mind. And body and wheels, they are senses and human body. And the passenger seated on the back seat is the soul. So if intelligence is not functioning properly, the driver is not driving properly, the passenger gets affected. Imagine if the driver, his blood pressure level goes down, or the sugar level goes down, he just, is like unconscious. He falls off. Now the steering is not under control. It can go anywhere. It can go anywhere. So what has to be done? Two things we have to do for giving internal strength. One is for the soul, and one is for the intelligence. So for intelligence, the strength comes from knowledge, and not just knowledge which you find in, the times of India or anywhere, in the material things. This is spiritual knowledge, transcendental knowledge. Krishna speaks in Bhagavad Gita, नास्ति बुद्धिरयुक्तस्य न च युक्तस्य भावना न च भवयतः शांतिर अशांतस्य कुतो सुखम. Where is the question of happiness if your mind is not peaceful? To attain that peace of mind, your mind has to be stable. And to make your mind stable, what you need is transcendental knowledge, not just ordinary knowledge. So from where that transcendental knowledge will come? It will come from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. It will come from all the Vedic literature. But Bhagavad Gita is the crux, is the essence of all Vedic literature. A small book, 700 verses, easy to understand, easy to digest, easy to apply. So that knowledge will come. One is from Bhagavad Gita, by reading Bhagavad Gita. Another is discussions taking place on Bhagavad Gita. Like right now we are discussing. It's based on Bhagavad Gita. So this will strengthen. If we just carefully hear what has been discussed, or you read attentively, what happens? Your intelligence gets food. Your intelligence is getting food, which was hungry otherwise from months and years. And now it's getting food. So it will become powerful. So many people say that when we hear Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavad Gita, for some time, the mind is so controlled. It doesn't think about anything negative. Everything is so happy, positive, even if someone insults. Oh, it's okay, no problem. We can forgive because intelligence has taken the food. But after some time again same. Why? Because food is regularly required. If you take food in the morning, you again need food in the afternoon or in the evening. If you take in the evening, you need again in the next morning. It's not that once you take food and now, okay, next year. Every year I take food only on my birthday and I don't take. That's not the case. Our body will become weak. So regular, or rather daily intake of food is must for intelligence. And that will come by reading Bhagavad Gita, by discussion of Bhagavad Gita. And then whatever you read and discuss, you can tell others. That will help you to remember. That will help you to, reinforce same knowledge again and again, and it will become like pakka in our system. Others will also others will get benefited, and we will also become more firmly fixed in that knowledge. So that's one. It will give internal strength and it will give internal satisfaction. Because this knowledge will tell you why things are happening. Okay, COVID is happening. Yes. It's not that the devotees are insensitive. We're not insensitive. We can also understand so many people are dying every day. It's painful. But the pain of loss of body is smaller as compared to the pain of the loss of soul. That's why devotees are on a mission that every soul must get this transcendental knowledge. One day everyone has to die. But if soul has gotten that transcendental knowledge, he will continue his spiritual journey in this life. And whenever he dies, he will continue journey in next life. So in that way, actually, there is no loss. I'm wearing this dress, after this session. Okay, I go and change it. But that does not affect me. It's just change of dress. So death is nothing but a change of dress. But this human dress is very rare, very rare. It's temporary and very rare. But we can utilize it completely by accepting this transcendental knowledge. Then even if the person leaves this body, leaves this human dress and goes to, definitely one who has accepted the spiritual path, he will not degrade to the species of animals. He will attain a human birth and a better human birth. So as to, he is given facility to continue his spiritual journey. And whatever you do in this life, say 20%, next life you start from 21st%. And then finish. Again 30-40% you do, and next again in 2-3 lives you finish and just push off from this temporary miserable material world. That's knowledge. But even after having knowledge, we are not able to apply that knowledge. Why? Because the strength, the spiritual, internal spiritual strength is still not there. Now you have understanding what is right, what is wrong, but where is the strength to execute and to do what is right and not to do what is wrong? That is second thing, which is food for the soul, and that is chanting of Hare Krishna mantra. This mantra has been prescribed in practically every literature, in Vedas, in Puranas, everywhere. Lord Sri Krishna has personally given this mantra, and we have to, every day chant and hear this mantra. Some of you might be chanting. Obviously, most of you know this mantra. A very popular mantra all over the world now. And all glories to Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, the founder Raja of ISKCON, who actually has put so much effort. At the age of 70, he traveled from Vrindavan to New York and all over the world gradually to preach and spread this message. Some of you might be chanting every day. Some of you are not chanting. So, for you who are not chanting, you should try this out. 20 minutes a day. We are doing so many things. We don't want, but we are wearing masks. It's so suffocating, but still you have to wear. You don't want to vaccinate yourself, but you have to. You don't want to sanitize again and again, but you have to. You don't want to sit at home, but you have to. So many things we are doing. That is for body, which is eventually today or tomorrow will be lost. What about the permanent soul? The body is temporary, but the soul is permanent. Are we giving any food to soul? We are doing everything for body. What about soul? We have forgotten that soul. And that's why we're not happy. So we have to give to that soul. And the food for the soul is Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So just 20 minutes. If you are not chanting already, just 20 minutes. It takes 2 rounds. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. If you chant 108 times, that completes one circle or one round. It takes 8 minutes. So I said 20 minutes, okay. You start with 2 rounds and read Bhagavad Gita every day. And now you have time. And even if you don't have time, take out the time because this is for you. If you will not give time for your soul, for your intelligence, then the mind will create havoc. As they say, prevention is better than cure. Because cure takes more time, energy, and money. And there is no success guaranteed. You break up, you break the relationship, then it takes time to develop. But if you give some time for your soul, for your intelligence, then the relationship will never break. The behavior will change. And so many things. Just one aspect of the relationship. There's so many things. So that's why we request all of you that please chant Hare Krishna mantra and read Bhagavad Gita every day. Take out some time for yourself. It's you and only you. First is you. When you travel in the flight, they announce that if there is a drop in the pressure of the aircraft, then the mask will drop down. Use the mask for yourself, oxygen mask for yourself first, and then help. Even if the other person is an infant, even if that baby is your son or daughter, first you have to, use mask for yourself. If you cannot protect yourself, how will you protect? If you cannot have strength for yourself, how can you give strength to your family, to your friends, to your relatives? First, you have to have strength. So once again, I thank all of you for participating. And this is a weekly session we are going to take every Saturday, 6 p.m., and we'll take different topics, and you will be, sent the link of the topic, and you can make the best out of it. So I thought we'll stop here, and then we want to give some time for some questions, so we can take some questions and try to respond, because any understanding will be complete when actually you will ask some questions, and so that you also understand and we also get an opportunity to clarify the matter. Hare Krishna.